Hello, my name is Candice Sanderson and welcome to my vlog. I am the author of The Reluctant Messenger, Tales from Beyond Belief, An Ordinary Person's Extraordinary Journey into the Unknown. Since the book was published in June of 2018, I have been maintaining a blog. Every time I go to some sort of a meditation, I will see energy, perceive of energy, and sometimes get messages from the messengers. And what I'm going to do today is share one of those vlogs with you. This was something that occurred in February of 2019. I was at the Church of Spiritual Light, which is in Fort Myers, Florida. And while I was there, I had a vision about us being wrapped in a cocoon, in a chrysalis, much like this. And we were getting ready to transform into something that's more than what we are typically ourselves. But let me go ahead and just share with you from the blog. I arrived at the Crystal Bowl Reiki meditation early, and I put my belongings in the Chase Lounge where I was getting ready to spend the next 90 minutes resting and meditating. And as I went to the restroom at the back of the church, my eyes were drawn toward a shelf that contained brochures and also my business card. And for some reason, I remember the last time I picked one of those cards up and gave them to someone. It was a couple named Pete and Joyce, and I had seen them a couple months before. They wanted my telephone number, so I said, wait a minute, I've got a card here, and I gave them the card. I was curious as to why that flashed before my eyes, but I'm kind of used to these things, so I just kind of went with the flow. I went to the restroom, and as I was washing my hands, another vision came to mind, and it was simply a road sign. I had been in Northern Ireland many years before, and in Northern Ireland, the road signs were written in Gaelic. And I thought that was odd, you know, why would I see something in Gaelic? But I thought, okay, I just kind of took note of it. I went back to my area and was getting ready to settle in when I heard the front door open of the church, and in came Pete and Joyce. Now that was interesting because they are not what I would call regular attendees to this event, the Crystal Bowl and Reiki meditation. And I, quickly told them that I, just had thought of them just a few moments before. I settled in my area, closed my eyes, was getting ready to meditate, and as I did, I heard the words, "Silence is golden. Step into the timeless nature of the divine." And with those words, the background information and the background conversations began to really fade. But not before I caught the words Ireland in Gaelic from Reverend Bledsoe, and also from Linda, who is one of the Reiki practitioners. It was also interesting that right before I dropped into the space of meditation, I had a flashback from the day before. The day before, the kids were off of school for a holiday, and my 6.5-year-old granddaughter, Lorelei, and my 2.5-year-old granddaughter, Shalane, they were playing, and they had this powder that you put in your hair, and it changes it different colors. And I remember helping them, along with my daughter, helping them to do that, and their hair, where it had once been blonde, now became green, purple, and pink. And I thought, it's so much fun to just experience the world through the eyes of a child. But anyway, I started to meditate, and right after I heard the words about stepping into the timeless nature, in my mind's eye, I could see these tiny threads of energy that were coming down from above. They looked like just tiny pieces of thread. And a message came. The message said, "What thread will you pick?" This represents the tapestry of life. You are the one to choose the path that you will take in this lifetime. And as I watched this, it was just like slow-moving gossamer fibers, and I'm listening to the words about the timeless nature of the universe, and I realized I had already stepped into that timeless nature, or maybe I should say stepped outside the dimension of time. I thought of Pete and Joyce, and all of a sudden they were there. In my mind's eye, I saw words written in Gaelic, and within moments I heard a conversation about Ireland in Gaelic. And I realized that is what a sacred place like the Church of Spiritual Light is all about. You enter a place and a space of timeless wisdom and sacred knowledge. The walls are blessed, and they can help bring the unimaginable into reality. And we indeed step into the timeless nature of the universe when we step into consecrated places. The vision then began to change, and these drifting threads began to look more like a spider web, and they kept falling down. I saw them in my mind's eye actually cover my body and wrap me actually in a cocoon like a chrysalis. And I knew there was a transformation taking place. All of my vital energies were mixing, blending, combining, and recombining within this embryonic solution. Then more messages came. What will you do? What will you be? What path will you follow? Who will guide you? Your truth awaits you. Step into the waters of transformation, transfiguration, and transmutation. With these last words, I had an epiphany, and I realized those little threads that I had been seeing, that they were indeed the tapestry of life, because they represented DNA strands. And I know that when healing occurs, it occurs on many different levels, but the intention is what makes everything possible. It is, I could do whatever I wanted. You may have noticed I have a very red nose. I've had some surgery for a basal cell carcinoma, and now I'm having treatment on my nose to get rid of precancerous growth that my dermatologist has seen. This is part of the drawback of living in Southwest Florida. You are certainly exposed to the sun, and even though you might use great sunscreen, sometimes things happen. But with this message and the transfiguration that came, I realized that I could change my makeup. I could grow a new nose. I can grow a new spine. I can transform my energy to become literally a different person. When everything is open, just like the chrysalis that changes a caterpillar into a butterfly. And the message continued, it said, set goals and intentions even higher. Allow the energy of your higher self to guide you on the path of the most sacred. Emerge from the cocoon, transformed into the beautiful soul that you are. When our intentions are pure and honorable, then guidance comes forth from within, with a capital W. And following this guidance, we can lay the foundation for transformation, not only for ourselves, but for humankind as well. When the meditation ended, I helped put away the lounge chairs and the blankets, and I spoke to several people, that I had not seen, who arrived after I was in my meditative state. And then a woman, a couple chase lounges away from me, spoke to me, and I could only smile that when I looked at her, on the left side of her face, her blonde hair was an emerald green. And I thought, okay, so that is why also I had the vision of the flashback of my two granddaughters coloring their hair the day before. This was the final piece of the puzzle. So seeing Pete and Joyce, seeing the road sign in Gaelic, and seeing the brightly colored hair reminiscent of my granddaughters. What did all of this mean? Did it mean anything at all? Was it just coincidental? I can't help but think that it's all part of the mystery that we call life. But we have to open our eyes and open our ears to these magical events. And perhaps that is the message, to look for the magic that's all around us. That's all for today. As my grandfather clock chimes, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.